The year 1985 can be characterized as ushering in the new. From a new operating system that would make Bill Gates a household name, to a new pair of plumbers that every kid wanted to play with. Even the world of soft drinks gained a new addition, but this one would be short-lived. Of all the events that 1985 brought us, the best remembered may be a movie that turned a DeLorean into a time machine. To start out the year, on January 1st, the United States' first mandatory seatbelt law went into effect in the state of New York. If caught not wearing one in the front seat, you would be ticketed $50, which was a hefty fine for that time. On January 15th, CBS premiered the made-for-TV teen drug abuse drama called Not My Kid, based on the book by Beth Polson. The special, starring George Segal and Stockard Channing, dealt openly with the struggles of drug addiction within the dynamics of a family. On January 28th, the charity single We Are the World was recorded by the supergroup USA for Africa, which included Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Quincy Jones, Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder, and many other pop stars of the time. February 23rd was the night that Indiana basketball coach Bobby Knight threw a chair across the court during a game with the Purdue Boilermakers. The outburst got Knight ejected and also suspended for another game, but Indiana fans loved it and started chanting his name as he disappeared into the locker room. On March 3rd, Moonlighting premiered on ABC. The hour-long detective show starred Sybil Shepherd as Maddie Hayes and Bruce Willis as an offbeat private eye named David Addison. On March 6th, Mike Tyson fought his first professional heavyweight boxing match. The future undisputed world heavyweight boxing champion knocked out Hector Mercedes in the first round of the fight held in Albany, New York. On March 31st, the very first WrestleMania was held at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The show consisted of 9 matches, including the main event, where Hulk Hogan and Mr. T defeated Paul Orndorff and Rowdy Roddy Piper in a tag team match. On April 23rd, Coca-Cola decided to change its recipe and released what they called New Coke. The response was overwhelmingly negative, and the original formula was back on the market in less than 3 months. June 27th saw historic Route 66 officially become decommissioned. The legendary road stretched from Chicago to Santa Monica, California, and is often called the Main Street of America. Its popularity through the years inspired songs and even a 1960s TV show. On July 3rd, the movie Back to the Future, directed by Robert Zemeckis, was released. Michael J. Fox starred as Marty McFly, a teenager who travels back 30 years using a DeLorean time machine built by a wacky professor named Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd. On July 20th, the main shipwreck site of the Spanish galleon Nuestra Senora de Atocha, which sank in 1622, was found 40 miles off the coast of Key West, Florida, by Mel Fisher and his team of treasure hunters. They would go on to excavate $400 million in coins and silver from the seafloor, making it the most valuable shipwreck ever found. On August 10th, Michael Jackson bought ATV Music for $47.5 million, which included publishing rights to the entire Beatles song catalog. The move angered Paul McCartney, because years earlier he had shared with Michael how lucrative owning publishing rights to music was, and Michael Jackson took his advice. On September 14th, The Golden Girls, starring Bea Arthur, Betty White, Rue McClanahan, and Estelle Getty, premiered on NBC. The show about four older single friends who lived together in Miami was met with critical acclaim, and it also made sitting around the table eating cheesecake a popular way to end the day. On October 18th, the Nintendo Entertainment System was released in US stores. The video game system that introduced Mario and his brother Luigi to kids across America would go on to become the most influential platform of all time. On November 20th, Microsoft Windows 1.0 was released. The operating system made using computers much easier and included programs like MS-DOS File Management and MS Paint, among others. On December 12th, 248 U.S. soldiers, along with 8 crew members, perished in an Aero Air charter crash. The flight, which left Cairo, Egypt, made a stop in Gander, Newfoundland, before it was to head home to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft stalled, and the plane went down about a half a mile from the runway. To close out the year, on December 16th, the film The Color Purple, based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Alice Walker, was released in theaters. Directed by Steven Spielberg, the film starred Whoopi Goldberg and Danny Glover, and tells the story of Celie Harris, a young woman who lives a turbulent life of poverty, abuse, and racism during the early 20th century. The film was a box office success and would be nominated for 11 Academy Awards the following year.